Chosen one. Heaven itself has paused to speak your name. This is not random, and you know it in your spirit. Something has been stirring deep within you. Restlessness, strange timing, a sudden awareness that something is shifting. This is not coincidence. This is divine interruption. Heaven has leaned close to your timeline because Wednesday carries a secret written before the foundations of the earth. And you are one of the few marked to witness it unfold. You have sensed it, haven't you? The unease, the quiet before something vast breaks open. Every distraction in your life lately has been an attempt to dull your awareness, to make you scroll past what heaven is trying to say right now. But heaven's algorithm never misses its target. When the divine calls, the noise fades, and everything within you begins to tremble, not with fear, but with recognition. You are not ordinary. You never were. From your first breath, you carried a sound that darkness could hear, a frequency that exposed falsehood. That's why you've been rejected, misunderstood, and pushed aside. You are not cursed. You are chosen. The enemy didn't attack you because you were weak, but because you were dangerous. You are a vessel of divine purpose, and your presence has always disrupted the plans of darkness. Listen carefully now, because this moment marks the first shift. Heaven is not just speaking, it is repositioning you. The door that seemed sealed shut is trembling on its hinges, and the hand of God is upon the lock. But here's the mystery. God is not unlocking something outside of you first. He is unlocking something within you. The unfolding on Wednesday is not just an external event, it's an internal awakening. As the ancient prophet spoke, the divine pattern always begins with awakening before manifestation. You are awakening now. Heaven knows your name. Angels know your face, and darkness knows your potential. You have walked through seasons of silence, thinking God forgot you. But silence is the sound of preparation. The heavens do not rush what they intend to crown. Feel this truth. You were hidden not because you were unworthy, but because you were being preserved. Just like a seed in darkness before it breaks into light. Your hidden years were divine incubation. Now, the soil is trembling, the shell is cracking, and the roots of your purpose are pushing against the surface. Wednesday will not just mark a day, it will mark the beginning of your becoming. So hear this warning with love. Don't ignore the signal. This is not another motivational word. This is divine dispatch. The kind that heaven sends when time is running out for hesitation. Don't postpone your obedience. Don't scroll away and tell yourself you'll return later. You might not. And something inside you knows that. Beloved, as you stand at this threshold, you must choose to respond. The heavens move when you move. Heaven responds when faith rises. Lift your eyes, straighten your shoulders, and whisper, I hear you, Lord. That whisper becomes a decree in the unseen. Angels respond to it. Shadows retreat from it. And remember, your steps from this point forward are not small. Each decision carries weight in eternity. When you obey the nudge of the Spirit, you are rewriting bloodlines, redeeming lost time, and restoring what the enemy thought he destroyed. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Do you understand what that means? Chosen one. It means you were never meant to blend in. You were meant to burn. to stand tall and radiate so fiercely that darkness trembles when it hears your footsteps. That's why this message reached you now, because the world is dimming and heaven is lighting torches again. You are one of them, and when your light rises, it will awaken others who forgot they carried fire too. You'll see eyes ignite with recognition, hearts reignite with courage, and chains that once silenced, voices begin to shatter. You were never just surviving, you were being prepared to lead the awakening. If this resonates in your spirit, if you feel that inner shaking that says, "This is for me," then it is. Type 999 inches, the comments as your prophetic act, declaring alignment with what heaven is releasing over you. Share this message so another light may awaken before Wednesday's unfolding. And subscribe to stay connected to what God is revealing next. Heaven is watching. The story is still being written. The next chapter begins when you choose to say yes. You were never ordinary, chosen one. That quiet sense that you never quite belonged, that was never rejection. It was recognition. Heaven recognized you long before earth misunderstood you. Every time you tried to blend in, something within you resisted. You could imitate the patterns of others, but peace never followed. Because your spirit knew what your mind didn't yet remember. You were marked before birth, long before you opened your eyes to this world. Heaven inscribed your name on a divine scroll. You were set apart for a purpose too weighty for ordinary living. That's why the world could not contain you, why comfort made you restless, and why mediocrity suffocated your spirit. You were born with spiritual DNA that rebels against conformity. You were created to carry a sound that only eternity recognizes. There have been seasons where you asked, "Why can't I just be normal? Why does everything hit me harder than it hits others?" It's because sensitivity is not weakness, it's a symptom of calling. Those who carry the heart of God often feel more deeply, see more clearly, and wrestle more intensely. Heaven needed someone who could feel what others ignore, and that someone was you. Every chosen one goes through this strange isolation, the wilderness of difference. You walk among crowds and still feel unseen, not realizing that God hides his greatest treasures in plain sight. You have been hidden by heaven, not rejected by it. There is a sacred loneliness that accompanies the anointing. It's the silence before recognition, the stillness before awakening. There were moments you mistook that silence for abandonment. You thought heaven was ignoring your cries. Yet, while you were crying, heaven was carving. While you were waiting, heaven was weaving. The delay you felt was the hand of God engraving purpose into your being. Every no, every closed door, every betrayal was chiseling your spirit into something unbreakable. You must understand this. Divine selection always invites divine shaping. The oil you carry cannot rest on untested vessels. So, God had to let you walk through nights where you questioned everything, because faith that has never been tested cannot be trusted with power. And make no mistake, power is coming. The kind of power that transforms atmospheres, heals wounds, and shatters cycles. But only a heart refined by tears can carry it with purity. Sometimes you wondered why certain people could sin freely, live carelessly, and yet seem untouched by consequence, while you, even for small missteps, felt immediate conviction. That's not punishment, that's favor. God disciplines those he loves because he refuses to let you lose your crown to compromise. Your conscience has been heaven's tether, keeping you from drifting too far. You have also felt unseen by those you wished would notice, the mentors who never affirmed you, the friends who faded when you needed them most. But consider this: had they celebrated you too soon, you would have settled there. God allowed misunderstanding so you wouldn't build altars in shallow places. You were meant for mountains, not meadows. The ancient words remind us why such shaping is necessary. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 12, "For the Lord disciplines those he loves. As a father, the son, he delights in." Feel the truth of that settle into you. The correction, the isolation, the resistance, it all flows from divine affection. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. Heaven does not waste pain. Every scar on your soul is being repurposed into wisdom that will one day guide others out of darkness. So, let your difference no longer be your source of shame. It is your signature. It's the proof that you carry something rare. You are not behind. You are in formation. Heaven never rushes masterpieces. When others move ahead in visible success, you are being rooted in invisible strength. Their growth may be quick, but yours will be unshakable. The world has yet to see what happens when you fully step into the fullness of who you were made to be. You will not need to announce it. The shift will speak for itself. You will walk into rooms that once ignored you, and the atmosphere will recognize the authority you carry. Conversations will change. Opportunities will find you. It won't be luck, it will be alignment. You were never meant to imitate. You were designed to initiate. When heaven looks for someone to carry light into dark corners, it doesn't choose the loudest or the most perfect. It chooses the willing. And you, beloved, have already been chosen. Remember this truth as you move forward. Your difference is divine evidence. The very thing that made you feel disqualified is the proof that you were destined. You don't need to force belonging anymore. You already belong to purpose, to destiny, to heaven's design. The weight you carried was never wasted. Chosen one. Those years when you thought God had forgotten you were not years of punishment, they were years of preparation. Every heartbreak, betrayal, and moment of silence built muscle in your spirit. You have endured storms that others couldn't even stand in. And yet, here you are, still standing, still believing, still waiting for something that your heart knows is coming. You may not have realized it, but heaven has been training you through warfare. The sleepless nights taught you to pray when no one was watching. The rejections taught you to depend on God when no one was clapping. The disappointments taught you to trust His timing instead of your plans. Nothing was wasted. Every tear was instruction. Every wound was revelation. You have been wondering why your journey has been so heavy while others seem to walk in ease. It's because you are being trained for greater weight. The greater the assignment, the greater the resistance. A light calling doesn't require heavy endurance, but yours does. The anointing you carry is costly because it was forged in pressure. Remember when people left without explanation? That was heaven's pruning. You prayed for clarity, but God gave you separation instead. You asked for open doors, but He closed some. Not to punish you, but to protect you. Some connections couldn't handle the magnitude of what's coming. You were never being abandoned, you were being refined. If you look closely, you'll see that pain was heaven's classroom. The lessons were brutal, but the wisdom is eternal. You learned how to love without applause, how to give when it wasn't returned, and how to stand when every voice around you said to sit down. Those lessons are the reason you're about to rise differently. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. That's what your suffering has been doing, building glory. Every invisible ache has been stacking unseen weight. You've been gaining spiritual muscle without even noticing. The enemy tried to convince you that you were breaking, but you were actually being built. You were never losing ground, you were taking root. There's a moment when all the pressure suddenly makes sense, when you realize that the pain didn't destroy you, it designed you. That moment is close. You'll wake up one morning and notice that what once drained you now fuels you. What once made you cry now makes you stronger. What once broke you now builds others through you. You were being shaped into a vessel that can carry light into the darkest places. You don't just talk about healing, you embody it. You don't just preach about breakthrough, you live it. That's why the enemy fought so hard to keep you in shame and silence, because your story has power, and your scars will set captives free. So, don't regret the weight you carried. Thank God for it. Every ounce of pain pushed you closer to divine strength. You'll see soon that your past was the map to your purpose. It taught you how to endure, how to discern, and how to depend. It made you unshakable. Now that you're stepping into this next chapter, heaven needs your agreement. The unfolding that's coming on Wednesday is not just about external blessings, it's about internal readiness. Heaven cannot release what your heart still resists. That's why you've been tested, to prove that your faith is stronger than your fear, your obedience louder than your wounds. So, take a deep breath. Chosen one. Everything you went through has prepared you for this hour. The crushing produced oil. The breaking produced beauty. The waiting produced wisdom. Now, before you move to the next section, type this in the comments: I am ready. No, write it not as a phrase but as a declaration. When you type those 3 words, you're not just engaging, you're agreeing. You're saying, Lord, I understand the training was necessary. I'm ready to carry what you've prepared for me. Heaven hears that. Angels record that. It becomes a signature in the spirit that marks your readiness for what's about to unfold. And as you do, remember, no tear was wasted, no delay was denial, and no pain was permanent. You are walking into a season where everything you learned in the dark will finally make sense in the light. You will look back and thank God for every storm that tried to break you, because it all worked together to prepare you for now. When heaven goes silent, chosen one, the heart trembles. You pray, and the air feels heavy. You cry out for answers, and all you hear is your own echo. It's the kind of silence that unsettles even the strongest faith, the kind that makes you question whether God still hears, still says, still cares. But let me tell you a sacred truth. Silence is not absence. Silence is strategy. When heaven grows quiet, it is not turning away, it is leaning closer. You mistake the stillness for distance because you expect answers in sound. But heaven often answers through motion. When God stops speaking, He starts working. He moves in dimensions you cannot see, arranging outcomes that require your trust, not your understanding. Remember the seasons where everything around you slowed to a halt, doors closed, prayers seemed unanswered, dreams paused mid-breath. That was the pause of divine precision. Heaven was removing what would have spoiled your promise. You thought you were being delayed, but you were being protected. Some blessings would have crushed you if they came too soon. God, in His mercy, waited for your roots to grow deep enough to hold the weight of what He planned to give. The silence of God is not punishment. It is proof that your destiny is delicate. When He hides, it's because He's perfecting. You don't bake a masterpiece with constant stirring sometimes. You have to close the oven and wait. The Creator knows exactly how long to keep the door shut before revealing what He's been forming inside of you. But I know it's hard. It's hard to worship when heaven feels distant. It's hard to praise when prayers seem unanswered. Yet, that's where true intimacy is forged. Anyone can sing in sunlight. Only the chosen can sing in the dark. Your worship in silence has been your loudest sermon to heaven. Angels record your tears as worship, your whispers as offerings. There were nights you said, "God, if you still hear me, give me a sign." And though no thunder fell from the sky, peace somehow covered you. That was the sign. Heaven doesn't always answer with words. It often answers with stillness that steadies you when everything else shakes. You see, heaven's silence is also heaven's test. It measures what kind of faith you have, faith that feeds only on miracles, or faith that survives on trust alone. When you continue believing even without evidence, the heavens take notice. Faith without sight is the language of maturity. And you, chosen one, have been growing silently while thinking you were standing still. Look back now. You'll notice that what once terrified you no longer shakes you. You've become stronger in your silence. You've learned to discern God's movement even when He doesn't speak. You've learned to rest without answers, to walk without clarity, to trust without control. That's maturity. That's mastery. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 29, verse 11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." That verse is not a distant promise. It's your current reality unfolding beneath the surface. Heaven's silence is filled with purpose. You may not see it yet, but every quiet day has been a seed. Soon, what was hidden will sprout, and you'll understand why God stayed silent. If He had revealed everything too soon, the enemy would have interfered, and impatience would have ruined what grace was building. There's also a deeper truth. Silence purifies motive. When the applause fades, when no one notices your obedience, when the reward doesn't come immediately, what remains is your real devotion. That's why heaven steps back for a time to see whether your heart serves for reward or for love. You've proven that you love Him even without answers, and that's why the next season will overflow with them. Don't misinterpret the stillness of this moment. You are in the interval between instruction and manifestation. The orchestra of heaven is tuning its instruments, preparing for the next movement of your life. The silence you hear is the sacred pause before divine music. So, wait a little longer. Don't rush the unfolding. Don't assume quiet means forgotten. Heaven is still writing your name into places you've never imagined. And when the sound returns, when doors swing open and answers begin to pour, you'll look back on this silence and call it holy. Because in the silence, you met the real strength of your faith. In the silence, you learn to listen beyond sound. In the silence, Heaven prepared you for the voice that's about to call your name again. The mark of the chosen is not always visible. Chosen one. It's not a crown of gold, it's the invisible imprint of oil that heaven places on those who were meant to carry light into dark places. You've felt it before, haven't you? That quiet stirring in your chest. That sense that something about you is different. Sacred. Costly. The world may see ordinary, but the unseen realm recognizes your name. You have been marked by assignment. It's why certain people couldn't stay in your life. They were allergic to your destiny. It's why some environments suddenly felt suffocating. You outgrew them. Light cannot shrink itself to fit back into shadows. When you walk into rooms, atmospheres shift, even if no one acknowledges it. You are a walking contradiction to darkness, a reminder that heaven still breathes through clay. Imagine this: a lighthouse standing alone against the storm. The waves crash, the winds scream, and yet the light keeps burning. It doesn't shout or move, it simply stands and shines. That's you. You've been through the winds of betrayal, the waves of disappointment, and the floods of uncertainty. Yet, your flame still refuses to die, even when you thought it flickered out. Heaven guarded it with divine hands. But do you realize what your light does? It exposes hidden things. When you walk in obedience, the counterfeit trembles. That's why spiritual warfare follows you. It's not because you're weak, but because you're a threat. Your very presence announces the collapse of deception. Demons recognize you before people do. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Enter. That's why sometimes your silence in battle is louder than shouting. You don't need to prove your worth or defend your name. Heaven does that for you. You are not fighting alone. There's an entire kingdom backing your every step. You may not see the angels, but they move when you move. You may not hear their wings, but you feel the peace that follows obedience. That's them surrounding you. And listen, sometimes your warfare isn't external. The battle is in your mind, the whispers that say, you're not enough, that your time has passed, that no one sees the effort you give. Those whispers are lies designed to dim your flame. But the mark you carry is permanent. It cannot be erased by doubt, fear, or delay. You have heaven's fingerprints on your soul. You've been wondering why God kept you hidden. The answer is simple. He was guarding his investment. Rare treasures are never displayed until their appointed time. You are heaven's treasure, kept away from imitation until your season of revealing. Don't despise the wait, it's proof of your worth. Chosen one. Your story will be someone's survival manual. What you've endured will become light for another, walking through the dark. And when your testimony begins to speak, it will sound like a melody of mercy, not a boast of strength, because even in your pain, you never stopped believing, and that's what the world needs to hear. You might not realize it, but your journey is already changing others. Every time you share a word of encouragement, every time you shine despite hardship, every time you choose peace over revenge, you are writing chapters in someone else's hope story. That's why I want to say this gently, but clearly. Let your light be seen. Don't hide it out of fear of judgment or misunderstanding. The world is darker than ever, and your flame might be the only warmth some hearts ever feel. If this message speaks to you, if it feels like heaven is reminding you of who you are, then let's keep the light moving. Take a moment to like, share, and subscribe, not out of routine, but out of alignment. When you do, you're not just supporting content, you're extending light. Think of it as passing a torch in the dark. Somewhere, someone is waiting for the very word that saved you. Your click could be the spark that keeps their faith alive. You see, even digital acts can carry divine weight. Every share becomes a ripple of grace. Every like a silent amen. Every subscription, a sign that you've chosen to stay connected to the flow of heaven's voice. This isn't about numbers, it's about impact. A single seed, when planted in the right soil, can feed generations. So, shine boldly, speak kindly, love deeply. Your mark isn't meant to stay hidden, it's meant to ignite others. The enemy wanted to bury you, but heaven planted you instead. And now, as your roots break through the soil, your light will call forth others from the shadows. You are the proof that survival is sacred, that obedience is never wasted, and that light always wins. Keep burning. Chosen one, the world needs your glow. You are standing on the edge of something sacred. Chosen one, the air around your life feels charged. Doesn't it? You can sense it, the quiet hum in your spirit. The way time itself seems to slow, as if heaven is holding its breath. This is not coincidence. You have reached what the Spirit calls the Wednesday threshold. For weeks, months, maybe even years, you've been walking toward this moment without realizing it. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment, it all converges here. Heaven doesn't move by calendar dates, but there are appointed times when divine doors swing open, and Wednesday carries one of them. It's the day where what was written in eternity begins to manifest in time. This threshold is not just a moment, it's a mirror. It reveals who you've become through the waiting. Heaven doesn't ask if you're ready, it watches how you've endured. And you, beloved, have endured more than most. You've been misunderstood and mocked for believing in promises that seemed too impossible to others. Yet you never stopped. You kept walking, even when the road vanished beneath your feet. But hear this, before every great unveiling, there's a final test. Not a punishment, but a proving. Heaven tests not to expose weakness, but to reveal strength. You may have noticed it lately, the unexpected resistance, the old patterns resurfacing, the sudden emotional turbulence. These are not random. The threshold shakes to see what can stand. You are being refined for revelation. What's about to unfold on Wednesday is not just a change of circumstances, it's a shift of identity. Heaven is reintroducing you to yourself, the version of you that carried pain, guilt, and self-doubt cannot cross this line. Only the refined, resurrected version can. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. That's the spirit you must carry as you step forward, one of courage, one of clarity, one of calm authority. Fear cannot enter this threshold. It's the gatekeeper of the old season, and you've already defeated it. Every time you stood up again after being broken, you proved that fear has lost its grip. Listen closely. Chosen, one Wednesday is not coming to you. It's coming through you. Heaven's timeline bends around obedience, not emotion. When you align your actions with faith, everything locked in delay begins to move. Doors that refuse to open suddenly respond to your presence because your frequency has changed. Heaven recognizes when faith becomes active, and the unseen realm adjusts accordingly. You may notice that your dreams are intensifying, your intuition sharpening, your emotions fluctuating more than usual. Don't fear it. It's spiritual sensitivity awakening. Heaven is recalibrating your inner compass to match divine direction. What you feel as pressure is actually alignment. And yet, there's a warning hidden in this threshold. Not everyone can walk with you past this point. You cannot carry old attachments into new seasons. Some relationships, habits, or even mindsets will crumble not out of cruelty, but out of mercy. God is pruning distractions so that your focus can remain undivided. Think of it like an archer pulling back the string before release. The backward tension feels like regression, but it's preparation for acceleration. Every stretch in your spirit means heaven is about to launch you further than you imagined. The tension is not punishment, it's propulsion. You have to trust that when you step through this invisible gate, heaven will meet you on the other side with resources, favor, and instructions. You won't need to chase what's meant for you. It will recognize your voice and come. But obedience must come first. So, pause for a moment and breathe. Feel the divine electricity running through your life right now. You are standing where the natural meets the supernatural. What you do in these next hours matters. Speak faith. Choose peace. Refuse fear, because your alignment determines your unfolding. Now, as a prophetic act, type 777 inches. The comments below. Don't type it for luck, type it as a signal of alignment. 7 is the number of divine completion, and by repeating it, you declare that what heaven began in you will be perfected. You're not typing numbers, you're signing your covenant with destiny. When you press send, you're saying, I'm ready for heaven's plan to unfold fully in my life. Oh, Wednesday is not a random day. It's your reminder that divine timing is real. That everything you've been waiting for is already set in motion. The waiting season ends not with fanfare, but with quiet obedience. Heaven's clock strikes differently, and when it strikes for you, nothing can stop what follows. You've walked through darkness, carried burdens, endured silence, and now, light approaches. Step boldly, speak life. The unfolding has already begun. The counterattack of darkness always comes right before the dawn. Chosen one. When light begins to rise, shadows panic. You've likely felt it lately, the strange resistance, the unexpected emotional weight, the sudden confusion that seems to come from nowhere. That is not coincidence. It's the turbulence that comes when breakthrough is near. Darkness does not waste energy on those who pose no threat. It only fights what it fears. And it fears you. You've been waking up earlier, feeling a pull to pray, sensing a stirring you can't quite name. Heaven is preparing you for elevation, and the enemy senses it. That's why distractions have multiplied, relationships have grown tense, and old habits have tried to resurrect. You are not regressing, you are being provoked into awareness. The pattern is ancient. Before promotion, there is provocation. Every warrior of light must first face resistance designed to test resolve. It doesn't mean you're losing ground. It means you're close enough to the gates of promise to disturb hell's agenda. The enemy cannot read your destiny fully, but it can smell momentum. And right now, you are carrying the fragrance of purpose. You may notice small things, the fatigue that seems unexplainable, the sudden irritations, the doubt creeping into your once clear faith. It's all pressure meant to make you withdraw just before the door opens. But if you can endure this moment, you'll notice that the chaos is temporary and the peace that follows will be permanent. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." That is your anchor. The promise has not been cancelled, it's maturing. What feels delayed is actually aligning. Heaven's timing is a rhythm, not a race. When you understand that, you stop panicking over silence and start preparing for release. But the counterattack always begins in subtle ways. The darkness doesn't always roar, it whispers. It tells you you're tired, that you've done enough, that it's time to quit. It sends familiar temptations wrapped in nostalgia, hoping you'll mistake bondage for comfort. The enemy cannot destroy destiny. It can only distract from it. And this is where your awareness becomes your armor. You must discern the difference between peace and escape. Not every quiet moment is rest. Some are traps. Rest refreshes, escape numbs. You'll know the difference by the fruit it leaves behind. If you feel lighter after a pause, it was rest. If you feel guilty or disconnected, it was escape. You have to be deliberate now. Guard your thoughts as sacred territory. Your mind is a garden, and words are seeds. Don't let weeds of fear or comparison choke your growth. When lies enter, confront them with truth. Say it aloud if you must. I am chosen. I am protected. I am progressing. The unseen realm responds to conviction. And remember, even the counterattack serves you. Resistance is proof of relevance. A storm only forms around something that matters. You are the reason for the current turbulence, not the victim of it. Heaven allows certain waves to rise, only to teach you authority. You are not here to survive storms, you are here to command them. You'll notice that your authority grows every time you refuse to bow to pressure. Each moment of endurance is spiritual warfare won silently. Heaven celebrates unseen victories more than visible success. There are angels assigned to your perseverance, documenting your faithfulness in moments when no one else sees. The pressure you feel is refining perception. You're learning to distinguish divine movement from emotional noise. That clarity will become crucial in the days ahead. Because as your influence expands, so will the noise around you. But those who have learned to hear in battle will never be deceived in peace. Don't fear the darkness. Beloved, it cannot consume what heaven has lit. The storm may swirl, but the oil on your life keeps the flame steady. You've come too far to collapse now. Let every wave remind you that you carry power enough to silence it. The very winds that tried to knock you down will soon propel you forward. In these final days before Wednesday's unfolding, the resistance might intensify. Don't interpret that as danger, it's confirmation. The enemy is most restless when heaven is about to move. Hold your peace. Guard your atmosphere. And keep your heart anchored in faith. What's ahead will make every battle worth it. You're not losing control, you're gaining command. You've learned to see through darkness. And that vision is what the next season demands. The counterattack cannot destroy you. It can only reveal how unshakable you've become. There is a mystery written inside you. Chosen one, a hidden scroll sealed before time began. It was placed in your spirit long before you ever took your first breath. That's why certain things move you deeply for no reason. Why some truths feel like memories instead of revelations. You are remembering what heaven already wrote. Every chosen one carries a hidden scroll, an invisible script of divine design. The world calls it instinct, but heaven calls it remembrance. Your scroll carries instructions, assignments, and encounters that were encoded into your being before you entered this world. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are unfolding deliberately. At times, life has felt like a series of detours. You've wondered if you missed the path, if perhaps your mistakes rewrote your destiny. But what if I told you the scroll cannot be erased, only delayed? Heaven's handwriting does not smudge. Even when you strayed, mercy followed, editing the story without deleting its purpose. Your failures have not cancelled the prophecy over your life. They have simply made it more miraculous when it comes to pass. The hidden scroll is not just words, it's energy. It draws the right people, repels the wrong ones, opens doors that logic can't explain. You may have noticed patterns in your life, divine coincidences that seem too precise to be random. That's the scroll reading itself through you, aligning events like pages turning in perfect rhythm. There were seasons where you felt lost, but in truth, you were being guided by divine choreography. Heaven's directions are not always linear. Sometimes God leads through circles, so your spirit grows strong enough to hold the next revelation. You thought you were walking in circles, but you were orbiting destiny, getting closer with each revolution. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 139, verse 16. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. And do you feel the weight of that? It means your story was finished before it began. You are living out a pre-written miracle, and every trial has been a line of divine dialogue, shaping your character into the person heaven foresaw. The hidden scroll within you often reveals itself through longing, that persistent desire that refuses to fade, the dream that keeps resurfacing even after disappointment. Those are echoes of your scroll calling you to remember. You were never meant to chase purpose. You were meant to recall it. Every time you say yes to a small nudge, a new section of your scroll begins to unfold. Sometimes, God conceals parts of your assignment not to frustrate you, but to protect you from premature exposure. If you saw the full picture, you might run ahead of his timing. So, he releases revelation in fragments, allowing obedience to become the key that unlocks the next line. Each step of faith is heaven's way of saying, you're still on script. But remember this, your scroll is unique. Comparing your journey to others is like judging one chapter by another. Books ending. Some scrolls open early, some late, but all are perfectly timed. The vineyard blooms differently in every field, yet the harvest always comes. When you face moments that seem senseless, losses, delays, unexpected turns, pause and whisper, "It's still written." That phrase alone shakes darkness, because it declares that the author has not lost control of the story. Even when you can't see the next sentence, you can trust the writer. And though your scroll is personal, it's never private in purpose. Your obedience releases ripple effects into others' lives. Every act of kindness, every word spoken in truth, every prayer whispered in faith, these are lines written into someone else's scroll through yours. You are part of a divine network, a web of destinies interwoven by unseen threads of grace. There will come a moment, perhaps soon, when you'll feel the next portion of your scroll unfold within you. It won't come with thunder or lightning. It will come as clarity, a sudden knowing, a peace that whispers, "This is it." Follow that peace. It is the ink of heaven still writing. You may not hold the full script yet, but you carry the author within you. So walk boldly, trusting that every step you take turns another page. What has been written cannot be erased. What has been sealed for you will soon be revealed to you. The scroll is alive, and it is unfolding in real time through your obedience. The call to alignment is not gentle, chosen one. It is precise, sharp, and holy. Heaven is not asking for part of you. It is requiring all of you. You have been given glimpses of destiny, whispers of calling, flashes of divine purpose. But for the next chapter to unfold, your entire life must now come into alignment with heaven's decree. Alignment is not about perfection, it's about direction. It means your habits, your words, your decisions, your company, even your thoughts begin to flow in the same rhythm as heaven's heartbeat. For too long, you've tried to mix light with convenience, obedience with comfort. But this season demands focus. The anointing that's coming upon you cannot rest on divided loyalties. You've felt that tension lately, the inner restlessness when you say yes to something small that doesn't feel right anymore. That discomfort is not guilt, it's divine correction. Heaven is retuning your frequency so that what once seemed harmless now feels heavy. God is making you sensitive again so you can hear Him clearly. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 3 declares, "Do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so?" That is the essence of alignment. You cannot walk with heaven and with hesitation. You cannot carry divine fire while entertaining the same distractions that once dimmed you. The path ahead requires precision, every step, every word, every moment, chosen with intention. You are not just living anymore, you are representing heaven's plan on earth. You may feel the Spirit calling you to make difficult choices, to distance yourself from environments that no longer fit your growth, to lay down habits that drain your energy, to close chapters that no longer carry purpose. Obedience is the currency of elevation. Every act of surrender is a doorway to new authority. It won't always make sense to others. People around you might say, "You're being distant," that you've changed. But that's the price of transformation. Alignment requires recalibration, and recalibration often looks like isolation. Don't mourn what you outgrow. When eagles mature, they fly higher and fewer can follow. Your alignment determines your altitude. If you stay connected to confusion, you'll remain in turbulence. But when you anchor yourself in clarity, heaven carries you. This is why the Spirit is purging distractions. It's not punishment. It's preparation. You are being tuned for prophecy, trained for influence, and refined for impact. You've come to a turning point, and heaven is waiting for your yes. But this yes is not like the others. It's not emotional or temporary. It's a lifelong surrender, a covenant between your soul and your assignment. You cannot halfway carry glory. It's either all in or not at all. Look around your life right now. What conversations drain you? What environments dull your discernment? What habits delay your growth? Heaven is whispering, release it, because what's ahead of you demands more space than what's behind you. Don't resist the pruning. It's proof you're fruitful. God only trims what He intends to grow. The cutting may hurt, but it's holy. Each layer He removes reveals the stronger version of you underneath, the real you, the one designed for this exact moment. Your alignment will become magnetic. Once your spirit locks into heaven's rhythm, things that once seemed impossible will find you naturally. Resources will locate you. Opportunities will recognize you. Favor will follow you, not because you're chasing it, but because you're finally aligned. The universe itself responds to the sound of obedience. And now, chosen one, heaven asks for a declaration, a moment where you say, I choose to align. Write it below, I choose to align. Meant, don't write it lightly. Write it as an oath, as a vow before heaven. When you type those 4 words, you are drawing a line in the spirit. You're saying, no more double-mindedness, no more delay. I walk with heaven now, fully, freely, fearlessly. Men, that simple act of typing becomes a prophetic signature. It's not about engagement, it's about embodiment. Heaven reads your intention, not your punctuation. Your comment becomes a seed in the soil of obedience, and from it will grow divine stability. This moment of agreement is sacred. Heaven has paused to witness your decision. And when you align your heart with His rhythm, the path ahead clears, the noise ceases, and your purpose begins to accelerate. You will see it soon, the shift in your atmosphere, the peace in your steps, the ease in your assignments. Everything begins to flow when the soul finally stops fighting its calling. So, breathe. Chosen one, heaven is moving. You're no longer out of sync. The scroll inside you hums again because your spirit just whispered yes. Alignment has begun. Before every rising, there is shaking. Chosen one, the ground beneath you has been trembling not to destroy you, but to dislodge what no longer belongs. You may have wondered why so many things seem to fall apart at once. Plans collapsing, people drifting, doors closing without warning. It felt unfair, chaotic, almost cruel. But it was not cruelty, it was construction. Heaven was making space for glory. When an earthquake strikes, it doesn't destroy what is solid, it exposes what is weak. Likewise, this shaking is revealing what in your life can stand and what cannot. The unshakable remains, the temporary falls away. You've been asking God to strengthen you, but strength never comes without pressure. What's breaking around you is actually aligning beneath you. You see, every promise must be tested before it manifests. Heaven shakes the foundation so the structure of your destiny can be stable. If the roots are shallow, the blessing would crush you. But the shaking, as painful as it feels, is anchoring you deeper into purpose. You're not losing stability, you're gaining depth. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 10. Though the mountains shake and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken, nor my covenant of peace be removed, says the Lord. You may not have realized it, but that's been your reality. The storm has been loud, but love has been louder. God's compassion has held you together when logic said you should have broken, even in your tears. Heaven has been steady. Imagine a potter shaping clay. The vessel spins on the wheel, pressed and stretched, sometimes collapsing only to be rebuilt again. It looks messy, but to the potter, it's progress. That's what's happening to you. Every collapse has been a redesign. Every spin has brought form. And when the shaking ends, you'll see that the cracks were not signs of ruin. They were the marks of molding. The same hands that allowed the shaking are the hands holding you through it. You are being rebuilt in real time. Heaven is reordering your priorities, resetting your perspective, and removing attachments that cannot go where you're going. The shaking is not rejection, it's redirection. And I want you to hear this with tenderness. You are not the only one trembling. Others around you are being shaken, too. Friends, family, strangers who also feel the shift but don't have words for it. That's why your story matters. Your endurance is not just for you, it's the blueprint for those who will follow. When this shaking settles, you will stand with new authority. You'll notice that certain storms no longer intimidate you, that familiar fears no longer grip you. You'll walk through environments that used to overwhelm you and feel peace instead of panic. That's transformation. That's the fruit of endurance. So, if this message resonates deep in your spirit, if it feels like heaven is whispering directly to you, then let's anchor this truth together. Gently take a moment to like, share, and subscribe, not out of habit, but as a symbolic act of agreement. Think of it like lighting a candle during a storm. When you like, it's as though you're saying, I receive this light. When you share, it's as if you're passing that flame to another soul still lost in the dark. And when you subscribe, you're choosing to stay connected, to remain within the rhythm of messages heaven keeps sending to strengthen you. It's more than engagement, it's communion. You're becoming part of a network of chosen ones across the world, each carrying their own flame, each enduring their own shaking, each preparing for their own rising. The world may never see your connection, but heaven does. You're not alone in this process. There are others, just like you, holding on through the tremors, trusting that the shaking will give birth to stability, and soon, all the fragments that scattered will come together again, stronger, sharper, holier. The day is coming when you'll look back on this season and whisper, it had to happen. You'll understand that the shaking didn't steal from you, it revealed you. And when that realization hits, gratitude will replace grief. For now, stand firm. Don't curse the earthquake. Thank it for showing you what was built on sand. Let what falls fall. What remains after the shaking is what heaven intends to elevate. The glory that's coming is heavier than the pain that shaped you. And when it arrives, you'll finally see why God had to shake everything else first, so that nothing would compete with the strength He's placing within you. The prophetic mirror is before you now. Chosen one. It doesn't show your reflection as the world has called you. It reveals you as heaven has always seen you. For years, you've carried labels that never belonged to you. Too sensitive, too much, too intense, too broken. But heaven is breaking those false mirrors tonight. You are about to see yourself clearly for the first time in your life. All along, You've seen fragments, pieces of your identity reflected through others' opinions, through pain, through misunderstanding. Every wound has distorted your view, like cracks in glass that bend the light. But now, heaven places a pure mirror before you, one not made by human hands. When you look into it, you don't see flaws, you see fire. You don't see weakness, you see the mark of someone refined by divine design. This mirror does not show who you've been, it shows who you truly are. It reveals the warrior who has survived battles that would have silenced many. It shows the intercessor who still prays when no one thanks them. It shows the child of God who kept standing even when they didn't feel strong. The world defines beauty by what it sees, but heaven defines beauty by what it carries. The scars you've been ashamed of are proof of your endurance. Every tear has been transmuted into oil, and that oil shines in the reflection now staring back at you. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 12, "Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God." Avreed, that's who you are, not a mistake, not an afterthought, but a child of the divine, carrying royal DNA. Your reflection has never been ordinary because your origin never was. You were not formed by accident. You were fashioned by intention. Heaven's fingerprints are still visible on your soul, but you must confront the old images before you can fully embrace the true one. The mirror of trauma will still whisper. It will remind you of moments when you failed, when you hurt, when you doubted. It will try to convince you that those mistakes define you. Yet remember, mirrors only reflect what stands before them. If you keep standing in front of pain, you'll keep seeing pain. Turn toward purpose, and reflection changes. You've spent too long apologizing for your light. You've dimmed yourself to make others comfortable, hidden your depth to avoid rejection, minimized your wisdom so no one would call you prideful. But the mirror of heaven refuses to shrink. It demands that you stand tall again. The reflection it shows is not one of arrogance, but of awareness. The awareness that you were chosen for impact, not invisibility. The reflection you now see may surprise you. You'll notice authority in your eyes, peace in your posture, clarity in your spirit. You are no longer the version of yourself who begged for acceptance. You are becoming the one who walks in purpose. Your reflection no longer pleads, it prophesies. Look closer. You'll see the battles you thought broke. You are now woven into your beauty. The rejection became redirection. The heartbreak became humility. The waiting became wisdom. Everything that once felt like loss has turned into layers of strength. You are not fragile, you are fortified. The mirror also reveals responsibility. When you recognize your true reflection, you can no longer live beneath it. Once you see who you really are, mediocrity becomes intolerable. The chosen cannot settle for survival when destiny demands dominion. You were not born merely to endure, you were born to transform, and transformation begins with truth. The prophetic mirror shows you what heaven has been saying all along. You are enough. Not because of perfection, but because of presence. God's presence in you is your validation. His image reflected through you is your confirmation. You don't need another person's permission to walk in what's already written. This revelation will not just shift how you see yourself, it will change how you see others. When you recognize the divine spark within you, you start to notice it in those around you. The same fire burns in them, though some have buried it under fear or shame. As your reflection becomes clear, you'll begin to speak light into their darkness too. That's how heaven multiplies its image through those who finally remember what they are. The prophetic mirror doesn't just restore your sight, it restores your mission. Once you know who you are, you stop competing, stop comparing, and start creating. You start walking in grace instead of guilt, in confidence instead of confusion. So stand before the mirror. Chosen one, don't look away this time. Hold your gaze until you recognize yourself, not the version shaped by pain, but the one sculpted by purpose, the one heaven has always seen, the one the world will soon see too. And now, chosen one, the moment foretold has arrived, the Wednesday unfolding the hour that heaven whispered into your bones is here. You can feel it, can't you? The air feels different. The weight that sat on your chest for months is lifting. The invisible chains that once bound your movement are beginning to break. It's not imagination, it's manifestation. Heaven is unfolding what it has been preparing behind the veil. This is the hour when the unseen becomes visible. For so long, you've lived on promises, clinging to words that had no physical proof. But faith has matured into sight. The things you once prayed for are now drawing near, not because you chased them, but because you became ready to carry them. Heaven doesn't release what you're not equipped to hold. The delay was never denial, it was development. What's happening now is not merely external. Yes, new doors are opening, but the greater unfolding is internal. The shift in your atmosphere mirrors the shift in your soul. You've outgrown fear, outlasted storms, and outlived doubt. The very fire that tried to consume you has refined you instead. You've changed in ways even you can't explain. You just know you're not who you were yesterday. The unfolding is gentle, almost quiet. It doesn't arrive with thunder, it arrives with clarity. Suddenly, you understand why certain things didn't work, why certain people couldn't stay, why God was silent when you begged for answers. You see now that protection often looks like delay, and mercy often sounds like silence. Heaven wasn't ignoring you, it was editing your story. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 32, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Nah, that truth is dawning on you now. Freedom isn't always the absence of chains, it's the awareness that the lock was never real. So much of what bound you existed only in your perception. The unfolding removes illusion. It exposes false limits, false fears, false versions of yourself. It brings you back to the unshakable truth. You were never powerless. Do you feel that sudden strength in your chest? That surge of peace where panic used to live? That's heaven's signature. It's what it feels like when divine timing catches up to divine promise. You've stepped into alignment so complete that resistance cannot hold its ground anymore. The season that held you captive has expired, but with every unfolding comes responsibility. Freedom is not a reward, it's an invitation. Heaven is not just delivering blessings, it's delivering blueprints. You will begin to receive sudden ideas, divine strategies, names, faces, or projects in your mind. Don't dismiss them. These are instructions encoded into this new season. The unfolding is not random, it is assignment. And yet, in this moment, heaven asks you to mark it, to acknowledge the transition. Every time something shifts in the spirit, God asks his people to make it tangible through declaration. That's why, right now, as a prophetic act of recognition, type 4,444 inches. The comments. Do it with intention, not repetition. 4 is the number of foundation, of stability, of divine establishment. By writing it, you declare, my foundation is set. My life is established in truth. My next season stands firm. You are not begging for blessing, you are building upon it. When you comment 4,444, it becomes more than digits. It becomes agreement. Heaven registers your acknowledgement, and that acknowledgement solidifies your shift. This unfolding will not just touch one part of your life, it will ripple through all of them. Relationships will realign. Opportunities will reappear, and clarity will flood in where confusion used to reign. You won't have to force or chase, you'll simply flow. That's what divine order feels like, ease after endurance. But don't mistake ease for inactivity. Heaven is calling you to move with wisdom. You are no longer reacting, you are responding. Every step must now come from peace. Not banits. When something feels forced, pause. When it feels fluid, proceed. You'll know what's from God because it won't drain you, it will develop you. Chosen one. This unfolding is both a release and a revelation. It's not something happening to you, it's something happening through you. You are the vessel through which heaven demonstrates restoration. The world will see you and call it luck, but those who discern will know. This is what divine timing looks like. So lift your head. Stand tall in the stillness. Heaven has finished the writing. And now the reading begins. The scroll within you has opened. The ink has turned to light. The story that once seemed delayed is now unfolding exactly on schedule, and all of creation is watching because your yes has triggered a divine chain reaction that cannot be reversed. The mantle of authority rests upon you now. Chosen one. It does not arrive with applause or noise, but with a deep stillness that settles in your bones. You can feel it, a quiet certainty, replacing fear. A calm weight of responsibility pressing upon your spirit. It is not heavy with burden, it is heavy with purpose. Heaven has entrusted you with something sacred, influence that shapes atmospheres, words that shift realities, prayers that pierce darkness. Authority is not about dominance, it's about alignment. When heaven crowns you with authority, it does not inflate your ego, it deepens your obedience. You are not elevated to command people, but to steward presence. True authority is the ability to host heaven wherever you stand. It's when the spirit within you becomes louder than the chaos around you. You didn't earn this mantle by perfection. You inherited it by endurance. The tests you survived were not random, they were proving grounds. Every betrayal refined humility. Every closed door purified motive. Every hidden season taught discernment. Authority is granted to those who learn to rule themselves before trying to influence others. And you, through pain and perseverance, have become trustworthy. There is a visible shift when heaven marks someone with authority. Environments begin to respond to your voice differently. What once resisted you now yields. Conversations that used to drain you now open in your favor. You may not have noticed it yet, but people have started to listen more closely when you speak. That's not charisma, that's confirmation. Heaven's mantle carries weight, and those with eyes to see recognize it. But every mantle requires balance. You cannot carry divine power with a wounded heart. Authority becomes dangerous in unhealed hands. That's why God took his time shaping you, so that the oil you carry would heal, not harm. Power without compassion becomes control. But power, bathed in mercy, becomes ministry. The trials that softened you were heaven's way of making sure your authority would reflect his nature, not your frustration. As the Apostle Paul wrote to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 37, "No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." That's the essence of your mantle. You are not merely surviving, you are conquering through love. You carry an authority that conquers not by force but by peace, not by domination but by discernment. Heaven's generals do not raise their voices to prove power. Their presence speaks before they do. Your authority will manifest differently depending on your assignment. For some, it will be through words, teaching, counseling, speaking truth where confusion reigns. For others, it will flow through creativity, music, writing, design that stirs souls awake. Some will wield authority in prayer, shifting atmospheres before dawn while the world still sleeps. However it expresses itself, it will always carry the same fragrance, humility wrapped in strength. Don't be surprised if this new mantle also attracts resistance. When spiritual rank rises, opposition intensifies. Darkness cannot attack heaven, so it aims for the vessels heaven uses. But remember, you are covered. Authority does not remove warfare, it redefines it. The battles you face now are no longer tests, they are territories. You're not just enduring storms, you're reclaiming ground. And understand, this authority always demands accountability. Heaven elevates you not to isolate you, but to anchor you deeper in community. The mantle you carry is for others as much as for yourself. Your victories are meant to unlock courage in those still trembling in their own wilderness. Every time you choose peace over pride, mercy over judgment, patience over reaction, you teach others what true power looks like. You are now walking in the same pattern as those before you: Moses, who carried a staff yet led with meekness; Esther, who wore a crown yet knelt in fasting; David, who held a sword but sang worship instead of vengeance. Their secret was surrender. Their strength came from staying low while carrying something high. Heaven trusts you because you've learned the same secret. You know now that authority is not a platform, it's a posture. You bow before God so you can stand before giants. You kneel in prayer so you can walk in peace. Every victory that follows will not boast of your strength, but of his sovereignty. So, chosen one, wear your mantle well. Let humility be its fabric and love its thread. Walk quietly but boldly. You no longer need to prove who you are. Your authority will speak for itself. When you walk into rooms, peace will follow. When you open your mouth, truth will cut through confusion. When you pray, heaven will respond. This is who you've become: the trusted one, the tested one, the transformed one. Authority does not rest on you by chance, it rests on you by covenant. Heaven has found in you what it rarely finds: a willing heart strong enough to carry weight without craving credit. You are not just chosen, you are commissioned. Carry the mantle with grace. The gathering of the remnant has begun. Chosen one. You can feel it in the air, the faint hum of recognition when your spirit encounters another carrying the same flame. It's not coincidence when you cross paths with certain people lately, it's convergence. Heaven is weaving a tapestry of purpose, threading together those who have endured isolation for the sake of preservation. Each strand, once hidden and frayed, is now being bound into divine unity. For a long time, you thought you were alone in your fire. You assumed no one could understand the weight you carried, the call that stirred in your chest, the holy discontent that refused to fade. But now, heaven is revealing others who were hidden in their own wildernesses, trained by tears, refined by silence. When your spirits meet, there's instant familiarity, as if you've known them forever. That's because you have in eternity. The remnant has always been connected in spirit before meeting in time. These divine encounters are not random, they are strategic. Each chosen one carries a unique frequency, a sound that complements another's. When the right ones gather, their combined resonance becomes a trumpet in the spirit, announcing that a new era has begun. The world may see coincidence, but heaven calls it activation. The voice of unity echoes an old truth, one written through the apostle in the first letter to the Corinthians. Chapter 12, verse 12. Just as a body, though one, has many parts, but all its many parts form one body, so it is with Christ. Oh, when the remnant gathers, the atmosphere changes. It's like dry wood meeting spark suddenly. Dormant purpose ignites again. You'll notice how conversations turn into confirmations, how casual meetings become divine appointments. Heaven is using these connections to remind you that the kingdom was never designed for competition, but for completion. Each chosen one adds what the other lacks, and together they form a living temple built without hands. There's power in recognition. When a chosen one sees another, jealousy dissolves and honor rises. You no longer envy what someone else carries, because you understand it strengthens what you carry. The remnant knows that one flame alone can light a room, but 1,000 flames can set a world ablaze. Still, discernment is key. Not everyone who speaks the language of light carries its essence. Some imitate, others infiltrate. You'll know the true ones by the peace they bring and the fruit they bear. The genuine remnant doesn't compete for spotlight. They create space for others to shine. They don't gossip, they guard. They don't control, they collaborate. Unity in heaven's language is built on mutual reverence, not performance. You will begin to notice that some people are drawn to your energy but cannot remain near it. That's natural. Light exposes. It reveals motives, divides truth from pretense. Don't grieve those who cannot walk with you. Bless them and move forward. The remnant doesn't chase numbers, it gathers authenticity. When the remnant finds one another, miracle, multiply. Prayers that once felt heavy suddenly flow with ease. Dreams that seem dormant awaken in conversation. What you struggled to believe alone becomes effortless in unity. This is why the enemy fought so hard to isolate you, because he knew what would happen if you ever found your people. The beauty of the remnant is that they recognize purpose before performance. They see the fire, even when it's small. They speak life to it. They remind each other who they are when the world forgets. In their presence, you feel safe to be both divine and human, to burn brightly and still admit when you're tired. And together, you will move mountains. The remnant doesn't march loudly. They move silently until the moment comes to roar. They are the quiet ones who will shift nations, the hidden ones who will heal generations. When their voices harmonize, heaven listens. When their hands join, darkness trembles. This gathering is not a social event, it's a spiritual realignment. Heaven is positioning each chosen one in their proper place, like stars arranged into constellations. Alone, each light is beautiful. Together, they tell a story written across the heavens. You are part of that story. Chosen one. You are not an observer. You are a thread in this divine fabric. Every prayer, every act of obedience, every word spoken in love becomes a stitch holding this tapestry together. So walk with discernment, but also with openness. The next person you meet might carry the missing piece of your assignment. Heaven is orchestrating introductions that will define destiny. When you feel that unexplainable peace in someone's presence, don't dismiss it. It's heaven's code for recognition. The remnant is rising, and you are among them. You will not burn alone again. There is a holy stillness before acceleration. Chosen one. It feels like calm water hiding a rushing current beneath. Everything may appear quiet around you right now, but in the spirit, motion has already begun. This is the final warning before promotion, the moment heaven tests your readiness not by noise, but by posture. You can sense it, can't you? That tension between peace and pressure, that strange blend of anticipation and anxiety. It's the weight of something about to break open. You are standing in the narrow space between ending and beginning, between completion and calling. Heaven often speaks softly before it moves suddenly. In this moment, heaven whispers one thing to your heart. Do not rush the silence. The final moments before breakthrough are the most delicate. A butterfly emerging from its cocoon too soon damages its wings. A seed sprouting before its time withers in the heat. The same is true of destiny. God delays not to punish, but to perfect. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you, nor forsake you. Those words are not distant comfort, they are present command. Strength is not loud, courage is not careless. They are quiet choices made in stillness. When no one is watching, this is how heaven measures readiness. Before crowns are placed publicly, character is tested privately. Many stop just short of the promise because they mistake silence for rejection. They walk away while the door is unlocking. Don't do it. Don't surrender in the final stretch. Heaven is watching for your endurance. Sometimes, obedience in stillness is louder than action in fear. This final warning before acceleration is gentle but firm. Guard your focus. Distraction is the enemy's last weapon. The closer you get to manifestation, the more noise will rise around you. Irrelevant conversations, old temptations, sudden emotional storms. They appear not to destroy you, but to divert you. The enemy knows he cannot stop the promise, so he tries to scatter your attention before you cross the line. Picture yourself as an arrow on the bow of heaven. The pullback feels like regression, but it's preparation. The tension you feel is the measure of distance you're about to cover. If you release yourself too early, you'll fall short. But if you trust the divine hand holding you, the very force that stretched you will be the same force that propels you. And now, before the launch, I want to speak to the human side of you, the side that's tired, uncertain, maybe even afraid. It's okay to admit you're weary. Even eagles rest before they soar again. You don't have to prove your strength to anyone. The fact that you're still standing proves enough. If this message has been speaking directly to your heart, if you feel the stirring of recognition deep in your spirit, pause for a moment and breathe. Then, as a sign of agreement, like this message, not for vanity, but for visibility. Your act of engagement is like lighting a lantern along heaven's path, signaling that you're still here, still believing, still waiting for instruction. When you share this message, imagine it as planting a seed in someone else's darkness. You never know whose spirit might awaken just because you passed the light forward. And when you subscribe, see it as staying by the fire, remaining close to where heaven continues to speak, so that when the next word comes, you won't miss it. Lastly, if this word pierced your heart, leave a comment, speak from your soul. Maybe write, "I'm still here," or "I choose to wait." Those few words may seem small, but in the unseen realm, they echo like thunder. Heaven reads sincerity more clearly than eloquence. Your written faith becomes written prophecy. Think of it this way. When you interact, you're not feeding an algorithm, you're feeding alignment. Each gesture of agreement becomes a spiritual nod that says, "I understand. I'm preparing. I'm ready." The window before acceleration is sacred. The old season is closing, but the new one hasn't fully opened yet. This space, though uncomfortable, is divine incubation. Stay present. Stay patient. Keep your posture of faith. The next motion from heaven will be sudden, swift as wind, certain as sunrise. And when it comes, it won't ask if you're ready. It will move through whoever already is. So stand still. Chosen one. The hand that pulled you back is the same hand about to release you forward. After the unfolding comes the crowning. Chosen one. It does not arrive with noise or announcement. It descends quietly. Like dew resting on the morning grass, you have crossed the threshold, endured the proving, and outlasted the silence. Now, heaven settles upon you not as a storm, but as stillness. The weight that once felt crushing now feels comforting. This is what it means to be crowned in the aftermath. Every storm leaves behind debris, but it also leaves clarity. The winds that tore through your life were not meant to destroy you. They were meant to strip away everything that couldn't stay. Now, as the dust settles, you can finally see what remains, what was real, what was necessary, what was divine. You have been refined by the fire, and the ashes beneath your feet have turned to fertile soil. The crown heaven gives is not visible to the natural eye, yet it changes everything about how the world responds to you. You'll notice it subtly in the peace that follows you, in the respect that finds you, in the favor that begins to flow without striving. The same places that once ignored you will begin to remember you. The doors that refused to open before now seem to recognize your knock. You didn't force them, you simply outlasted what was blocking them. We find in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, for after the test will receive the crown of life, promised by the Lord to those who love him." That verse now lives in you. The trial is no longer theory, it's testimony. You didn't just survive, you've been transformed. Heaven's promise is no longer abstract, it's embodied. You carry the fragrance of endurance, the quiet dignity of someone who has walked through fire and found peace waiting on the other side. Being crowned is not about being celebrated, it's about being established. A crown is a symbol of completion and commencement. It means the test has ended and the assignment begins. The humility you learned in waiting now becomes the strength you'll need in leading. The compassion you gained in suffering becomes the tool through which you'll heal others. Every pain had a purpose. It prepared your hands for responsibility. Look closely at your life now. The chaos that once surrounded you has begun to part like curtains on a stage. What was hidden is being revealed. The gifts that once lay dormant within you are awakening. Your voice, once trembling, now carries authority. This is the shift you've been sensing. It's not something happening to you, it's something happening through you. And yet, with every crown comes a calling to stillness. Do not rush to display what heaven has crowned. Let your actions, not your announcements, reveal the change. The true king or queen does not prove their royalty, they simply walk in it. The authority you carry now is recognized by atmosphere, not applause. You don't need to explain what you've become. Your peace will do that for you. In the aftermath of transformation, humility becomes your throne. The crown is not a reward for pride, but a reminder of grace. You wear it not because you were the strongest, but because you refused to let go. Every tear, every whispered prayer, every moment of surrender built this crown, one piece at a time. You will notice that certain people will see you differently now. Some will honor you, sensing the shift. Others may distance themselves, uncomfortable with your elevation. Both are necessary. Honor confirms your growth. Discomfort protects it. Don't chase validation or fear separation. Both are orchestrated by heaven to preserve the purity of your purpose. The aftermath of divine unfolding is quiet restoration. What was broken begins to mend. What was stolen begins to return. And what was lost begins to make sense. You may find that you no longer crave what you once pursued. The crown changes appetite. It teaches contentment. You are learning to walk with grace, to move with rhythm, to speak with weight. Your crown is made of endurance, not gold. It glows with obedience, not ornament. It is invisible to the world, but unmistakable to heaven. Angels recognize it, darkness respects it, and creation itself responds to it. You have become what heaven envisioned, a living testimony that surrender wins where striving fails. So, walk gently in this new light. The war you fought within has ended, and peace now governs your being. You are not the same person who entered the storm. You have emerged, refined, radiant, and ready not to boast, but to build. The crown is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a greater stewardship. You are crowned in the aftermath. Chosen one, not as one who escaped the fire, but as one who carries its light. The echo of eternity moves through you now. Chosen one. It is soft, yet infinite. A sound that began before your birth and will continue long after your final breath. It is the resonance of obedience, the vibration that travels beyond time itself. Every yes you whispered in faith. Every act of surrender when no one was watching. Every quiet choice to trust, none of it vanished. It all became part of an eternal echo that heaven now amplifies. You may not realize it, but eternity listens. It records not the noise of your life, but the notes of your faith. Long after moments fade, the sound of obedience remains. It is the frequency heaven uses to weave history into destiny. And right now, that frequency is ringing through your name. This is the legacy of the chosen ones. They do not live for applause. They live for echo. They understand that what begins in humility resounds in eternity. When heaven calls, and they respond, their voice merges with divine rhythm, creating a sound that never stops. That is you now, a living echo of heaven's intention on earth. As the prophet Isaiah declared, chapter 55, verse 11. So is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. On, you are that word. Chosen one. You are the spoken intention of God made flesh, walking the earth as living prophecy. Every step you take fulfills a sentence written long ago. Every breath you draw is part of that divine speech still unfolding. The echo that follows you is not merely sound, it is purpose in motion. Think back over your journey, the valleys, the silence, the storms. They were not random chapters, they were rhythms forming the melody of your calling. Heaven composes symphonies from human struggle. Your tears were percussion. Your hope was harmony. Your perseverance, the refrain that will play through generations yet unborn. The echo you leave will outlive you, not because of what you've done, but because of who sent you. This is how heaven writes legacy, not in monuments or fame, but in motion that continues. Somewhere, years from now, someone will find strength in the path you carved. They'll face the same darkness that once tried to consume you and remember your story. They won't even know your name, yet they'll feel the residue of your obedience. That is the power of eternal echo. It travels beyond recognition into redemption. You are part of a continuum now. The obedience of Abraham still shapes faith. The courage of Esther still empowers women. The songs of David still stir worship. And your faith, quiet, hidden, steadfast, will do the same. The echo of your life will ripple through families, nations, and timelines in ways you will never see on this side of eternity. But this is what makes it holy. You don't need to see it to believe it. You've already learned that unseen doesn't mean unreal. Eternity doesn't measure impact by visibility, but by authenticity. The whisper that says, "I trust you anyway," resounds louder in heaven than the shout of self-praise on earth. The eternal echo also carries accountability. Every gift you've been given, every word spoken over you, every revelation entrusted to you, these are not decorations. They are seeds meant to multiply. The echo continues only when the sound is released. You must live and speak as one who knows their life is a message. Silence, born of fear, is disobedience disguised as humility. Heaven did not choose you to hide. It chose you to resonate. But even resonance requires rest. The echo of your life will not fade when you pause, it deepens. Every time you choose stillness, the sound grows clearer, reaching further. Legacy is not made by constant motion, but by consistent intention. You've already made your mark. Now, heaven amplifies it. The echo of your obedience will call others home. People you'll never meet will feel the shift you caused simply by existing in alignment. They will stand taller because you refused to bow. They will heal faster because you chose to forgive. They will believe again because you refused to quit. This is what it means to live a life that echoes, and so, as eternity listens, your story continues, not as a closed book, but as an ongoing vibration in heaven's great song. The light that started within you now travels beyond you, touching corners of creation unseen by your eyes, but felt by every soul destined to awaken after you. The eternal echo of your obedience will never die. It will move through generations like wind through trees heard, felt, remembered. You were never just chosen for a moment. You were chosen for forever. Chosen one. If you've walked through every word of this journey, heaven bears witness. You have stayed until the final echo. You have listened, reflected, and remembered who you are. The story you've just lived through these 17 sections is not fiction, it is prophecy. You didn't stumble here by accident. You were guided, page by page, toward remembrance. Now that the message has found you, let it keep moving. Let the light flow beyond this moment. Take a breath and, when your spirit agrees, like and share this message, not as routine, but as reverence. When you share light, it multiplies. Somewhere, someone is waiting for the sentence that will wake their soul, and you could be the messenger heaven uses. Leave a comment, not out of habit, but as testimony. Write from your heart what stirred within you. Your words may become the confirmation someone prayed for at midnight. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Stay close to this current of revelation. There are more messages coming, more alignments unfolding, more whispers waiting to meet you. Heaven is not finished with you. The story continues. And the next chapter begins with your next act of faith.